A deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning. Welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. First, want to just apologize for 2 seconds. We were starting technically, 2 minutes late. Later than normal, I should say. Just had a few technical difficulties behind the scenes in preparing for this podcast, but we got it sorted out. Everything is working correctly now, and just took 2 extra minutes to be able to put everything together. But we are on air. We are also on YouTube as well in the process as well. Story is, it is hot here for the day today. I'm still sorting everything out, making sure everything's good behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure it is. Just triple checking. I believe, we are good. We are good. We are rolling here. Currently at this hour. All right, here are your temperatures. I mean, this is the main story of the day. It's just going to be tracking these out. I usually don't start out with just a weather graphic, but I mean, this is just eye-popping. Temperatures already in the either at or just above 90 degrees, except for a tiny select few of us, but it's already 93 in Shreveport, 92 in Texarkana. Guys, it's 10:30 in the morning. We shouldn't be doing this yet. Not only that, but check out the feels like temperatures. Oh my goodness. Just so you know, on a usual hot afternoon, especially in summertime, these are like your usual feels like temperatures for the afternoon. It's 10:30. We still have another 6 hours to see these temperatures slowly but surely climb even more here for the day today. We do definitely have a heat advisory in place. I think that goes without explanation here for this afternoon. In fact, there's some people that have been even calling for a excessive heat warning. We're technically on the threshold of an excessive heat warning. We'll get more into that in just a little bit as we're still sorting all the graphics through. We got a lot to go over here for the day today besides heat. We got storms, and we're also talking tropics for our exclusive content here for the day today. But let me be polite and welcome you on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here, where we talk everything and everything weather. It is the weather show. It is not the news, weather, and sports show here on KSLA News 12. So we take the time to go thoroughly over everything you need to know weather-wise, both when it comes to what's happening locally, and this is usually the platform that kind of allows us to expand our horizons and look to other regional areas, such as any national weather headlines that are hitting anywhere around the United States, which mainly the big story is Erin tracking the tropics and seeing how close does Hurricane Erin, that's a Cat 4 right now, major hurricane, how far close does it get to the East Coast? It's not expected to hit, but are expected to have a good surge, a good hefty surge along with that system here at this hour. So, again, short term, we're dealing with heat. Drink water, all right? That'll be good. That'll be good here for this afternoon. That's going to be much needed. Definitely take breaks for it, as I just did. We're also talking storms. We do have storm chances coming on up. Not really today, but in just a few days. Expected to get more hefty rounds of rain in here into the Arklatex. That'll eventually lead us to slightly cooler weather. Notice my face. I mean, it's still going to be hot, but it's something. It's better than nothing. It's always my motto when it comes to these cool fronts coming through. So we're talking that, and then our exclusive topic here for the day today is all about the tropics and watching what Erin does. We also do have one area of interest to watch out for that has a good chance of forming in the days ahead behind Erin. So we'll have the full details on that and see where that's possibly going to go coming up in our exclusive content. So here for the day today, our exclusive content is essentially going over the tropics. Now, we go over the tropics usually every single local forecast anyways, but when we kind of exclusively go over the tropics, we're putting a few more graphics tailored into the tropics that you might not necessarily see on air. We kind of go essentially in depth into the tropics always every single day on these First Alert Weather Breakdowns, but we go just a little further on days that we just exclusively tailor to going over the tropics, essentially. All right. Excuse me. Let's go over the local forecast first and foremost before we talk any tropical situation around here. All right, there's a look at your feels like temperatures right now as I'm trying to pull out the rest of the graphics. They might even update as I'm looking on the site. I believe they did. Marshall up to 107. Texarkana 107. So is Idabel 107 degrees. We'll go over that again real quick in just a little bit. Here's a live look out in Shreveport now. To be fair, it is a beautiful day today. That's why we're racking up the heat, but we don't have to worry much about rain, at least here for the day today, which is optimal. You can be thankful for it. Not a single cloud in the sky across both our camera looking into Bossier and also our camera looking into Texarkana. So both the northern and southern half of the region, lack of cloud cover around this. No peaks, no shade. No shade being provided by the atmosphere at all. Actual high temperatures actual temperatures right now, mostly running the lower 90s. Peak of that is in Marshall at 94 degrees, 91 in Magnolia, 91 in Mount Pleasant. Okay, we've already gone over this, but it is just crucial. And man, it is just ridiculous how hot these feels like temperatures are getting before lunchtime. My goodness. I mean, there's the threat of some of our actual highs running at or around 100 degrees by the time we get to noon, really. 102, though, is expected. These are the actual highs here for this afternoon. 102 in Texarkana, 102 in Stamps, 102 in Nashville, 100 in Foreman there for you. 99 in DeKalb and Broken Bow here for this afternoon in the process, too. Meanwhile, East Texas, 96 in Carthage, 97 in Gilmer, 98 in Dangerfield. Northwest Louisiana, 102 in for Shreveport, 98 in Coachella, 99 for Homer. Feels like temps. This is the peak of what's expected to be the feels like temperatures here for this afternoon, which is peaking around 113 for Texarkana, 110 in Shreveport. Honestly, I would not be surprised to see if we eclipse this. Because Mansfield, as of last check, is at 105, and for their current feels like temperature, it's around 103 right now for Shreveport, and you're saying it's only going to increase by 7 degrees in a matter of 6 hours. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to eclipse this just by a little bit. Same case for tomorrow. Feels like temperatures running around 110 in for Texarkana and Shreveport here for tomorrow afternoon. So overall, it stays hot here, at least for the next 2 days. Heat advisory, thus in place for everybody around the region. I think that goes without explanation. But I will say, again, we're close to that excessive heat warning threshold, which is in effect for most of Little Rock. If you happen to be traveling out today, most areas around central Arkansas do find themselves under that excessive heat warning here for the day today. But kind of just goes to show you that some of our counties just outside of southwestern Arkansas are dealing with that excessive heat warning in place. So just take that as you will. Again, we're close. We're on the high end of that heat advisory threshold, very close to that threshold and meeting the criteria essentially for excessive heat warning, which is usually sustained. It feels like temperatures above 110, but we're talking like sustained for multiple hours. Hopefully that doesn't happen. That's what the National Weather Service is projecting to happen, but I have a question mark on that. You get the point, though. It's going to be extremely hot over the next 2 days underneath the mostly sunny skies, but change is coming. Relief. Oh, sweet relief. It's not going to be too much, but we do have a cool front. If you notice the high pressure system in this graphic, it shows that it goes away, but essentially it kind of retreats a little bit off to our west. And that welcomes and opens the door just for a little bit of some breezes out of the north, which are going to try to bring in some slightly cooler air. We're not talking a massive cool down by any means, but it's just a little bit. And essentially, we're expecting a cool front to bring in lots of rain. We'll talk about the rain here in just a little bit. That's going to be coming along with that. But I wouldn't say most importantly, but maybe what's better for us is just a little bit of relief here for by the time we get into Thursday and Friday with some slightly cooler temps for you in store. So here's how that looks. Next 5 days, again, actual highs in the low 100s here through Tuesday. We start cooling things off on Wednesday. That's mainly when the rain starts coming again. We'll get to that immediately after this. But then we get into Thursday and Friday. That's when highs get down to the mid-90s. So again, mid-90s. Yes, it's still hot, but you're at least taking a good sizable little haircut there to your temperatures between Tuesday and Friday. The difference in 10 degrees. So, hey, 10 degrees is something, but it's not too amazing, I guess, so to speak. It's still, again, hot So here is that cool front that's coming on through. Again, that's going to be coming with lots of rain. Now, these are going to be rounds of scattered storms coming into the region here. And what I mean by rounds is that we could have multiple instances of where we get rain throughout the day on Wednesday. This doesn't look to just be your typical Wednesday afternoon pop-up showers and storms that are just going to be, a lot more numerous, is what I've been saying with systems past. But essentially, what I'm getting at is this kind of rain could happen at any time of the day. Any time of the day between Wednesday and Thursday. Good substantial moisture even coming through for the morning hours, cooling things down behind it a little bit. And the first of those rounds could even be seen on Wednesday morning there for you. So this is the latest future track out for this afternoon. Let's go a little slower with this pace. We could still see a stray shower or two. It's not completely dry here for the day today. We could still see a few little tiny cells of some showers here for the afternoon hours. The future tracks, especially recently, have been pinpointing to that mainly happening in the southern half of the region compared to the northern half. But as you see on the future track, still giving us maybe 1-2 cells found maybe around Mount Pleasant, northeast Texas. The point being, though, we're going to have some showers mainly grazing the southern edge of the region here for this afternoon. So, again, the rain chance isn't 0 for today, but I think most of us do stay dry. Then once we get into Tuesday, most of the rain actually stays in the northern half of the Arctic. So, southern half of the Arctic, straight chance of rain today. Tomorrow, straight chance of rain essentially in the northern half of the region. And then all eyes are what's going to happen on Wednesday. It looks like it actually does stay dry here for the time being. This is our latest future track, which, believe it or not, our last future track before this actually had us getting rain for Wednesday morning. So it looks like we dodged that, but we get a good storm coverage. That's got almost good scattered to widespread storm coverage there for your Wednesday afternoon and evening. That could even continue into Wednesday night, it looks like, before getting more showers and storms in store here for your Thursday. So that's the short-term future track. And for the long-term future track, you see not much here in the next 2 days. But then we get into Wednesday, and that's when big blob shows up. And essentially, what happens in the Thursday, same thing. Another round of scattered storms for you then. And maybe even some lingering showers into your Friday, too. But thankfully, I do have signs that we will hopefully dry most of this out by the weekend. Look at that. Saturday, not really seeing much rain at all. And the same case happens in store for your Sunday. So it looks like Wednesday through Friday is kind of a rainy timeline before drying things out just in time for the weekend. And that's also going to leave us with the slightly cooler temps being extended into the weekend. So the weekend almost has the greatest and most friendly kind of weather left in store here for us then. So essentially, weekend, again, it's got that slight cool down, and it still has the sunshine in store. So best days out of the next 7 could potentially be for the weekend, which would be nice. Two most important days of the week, right? All right, up next, we got your first alert eye on the tropics. We are going to go into that in its entirety as our part of our exclusive content. That's going to come after a commercial break, which is up right now. We will see you after a quick 2-minute water break. See you after this. Hey, welcome on back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here in the Weather Center. Honestly, one of my favorite segments to go over for the entire week is to go over a thorough look at what's going on in the tropics, mainly because part of my motivation for meteorology kind of surrounds the tropics. I'm motivated by everything weather-wise, but Katrina, specifically. Hurricane Katrina kind of left a good mark at me as a young kid, so I always want to keep people first alert when it comes to, and this means anybody, not just people in the Arctic, but just anybody in general around the United States, keep them safe from tropical systems, because they can, as everybody knows around here, they can leave quite a mark on whoever they hit and always make big headlines. Now, we do have a major hurricane in the Atlantic, which is always what our eye turns to. Here is where we're at, first of all, in the season. This is where it always starts to ramp up right around the beginning of August. Obviously, we're kind of in it's August 18th now, so kind of in the middle to late portion of August. But the point is, we still have a long way to go. The peak of the season itself, if you want to choose a month, is definitely September. Which we're coming up on. This is 2 weeks away, essentially. But then you still run into, essentially, October, and still several storms in that factor. If you remember, the perfect example I always used to make is Hurricane Michael, which happened in 2018, the Cat 5 that hit Panama City Beach. That happened around Halloween. So there's still plenty of time to get any kind of a system that could be brewing here in the next several weeks. All right, here is our overall pattern around the region. We're watching out for two main systems. First, there's Erin. It is currently a Cat 4, mainly just off the Caribbean islands. I would say, I forgot to update the position on this. This is more like right around here-ish, kind of. It's around. You get the point. It's just off to the northern side of the Caribbean islands for now as a major Cat 4 hurricane. Then we do have this area of interest behind it that has a 50% chance of developing, almost in the footsteps of where Erin has been. If anything, it could be a little bit farther off to the south. We'll go over details on that coming up, because most of our eyes, especially for any kind of land impacts to the United States, could be made by this new area of interest. Well, we will see. But let's talk about Erin first and foremost, because that's kind of a current system as of right now. So here it is on the tropical satellite picture. And again, even though most of the story over the past week or two has been the fact that this isn't directly impacting land, meaning the eye isn't. And it's still offshore, all the northern edge of the Caribbean that you see here. But we're still getting lots of rain, especially in some of these Caribbean islands here. Puerto Rico felt it a little bit earlier, and now the Dominican Republic and areas of Haiti are starting to feel it as well around these southern bands. These are still southern bands of rain coming on by across these Caribbean islands, still pounding these with heavy rainfall. In fact, we had some flash flood warnings ongoing in Puerto Rico yesterday. So I wouldn't say it's groundbreaking. It's not like giving them lots of damage per se, but it's definitely still getting them a good amount of wind and a good amount of rain on through. Now, this is looking at first glance kind of eerily getting a little close to the main coastline for the United States there. But thankfully, this should be about the point where it starts to directly turn northward almost. So we got winds at 140 miles an hour. That makes it a Cat 4. It was a Cat 5 over the weekend. And then this is going to, again, as you can already see on that first little picture there, this is going to already turn up to the north, and it's mainly north. It's still going mainly at a western trajectory here at this moment, but it's going to start turning a lot more northward, especially by the end of the day today. If anything, it could ramp up here for the rest of the day, up to maybe 145 miles an hour here by the end of your Monday. Then this continues to move up north and west and really starts to lose its power. It's down to 120 miles an hour. It's still a major hurricane, but at least finally starting to drop a little bit in regards to its maximum winds here by Wednesday morning. You see by Wednesday morning, it completely moves up and due northward. We're starting to turn eastward on Thursday and Friday late this week, but early Thursday is when it should be Getting real close to North Carolina, must I say. Getting a little eerily close, and then eventually moving up north and eastward, not, again, making direct impact with any kind of landfall. But this is still a very close track, might I add. In fact, if you look really closely, I'm going to go into this graphic itself so you can just see I'm going to move around the scene camera a little bit here. If you look at North Carolina, especially in some of the eastern edge, it's not in the cone, but still, this is a very wide storm. Look at how big it is on that recent satellite picture. This is still going to affect areas of east side of North Carolina with still some rain bands, essentially. And worst of all, the worst impact of the United States as a whole, or I should say the East Coast specifically, is going to be the waves from the system, which are going to be huge, and it's going to be providing some massive rip currents to any of the beaches, essentially, along the East Coast. So that is going to be quite a system to watch evolve. It could erode some beaches as well, so watch out for that if you happen to be along the East Coastline. So again, no direct impacts, but still getting a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind, especially along the East Coast, and don't go to the beach. I would just say don't go to the beach, especially if you're close to, say, North Carolina and Virginia, which are probably some of the areas along that East Coast that are getting closest to that system in and of itself. All right, so that is Erin. Let's talk the area of interest behind it. This is an area of interest that is still a ways away from developing. It does have a good amount of convection around it, but I mean, you see this gaping hole of dry air in the middle of it. It's still got to get its act together, and it's going to take a while for it to do that. So that's why it's not going to form in the next 2 days. It looks like if this forms, it would be somewhere around Friday as of right now, somewhere in the next 5 days or so. It would form somewhere in this orange circle, which is either right on top of Erin or right before it. And this is essentially right before it goes to Caribbean islands. And this is a system that could directly affect the Caribbean islands. Now, I will say at first glance, the system shouldn't ramp up as quickly and shouldn't get, especially as intense as Erin, as quickly as, what am I trying to get at? It shouldn't get as quickly intense as what Erin was. That's what I'm trying to get at. But it still looks like it will form regardless here at the end of this week. Again, if it would form, it looks like it would form somewhere around Friday or Saturday. So first of all, still plenty of time to watch this system play out. The next name is Ferdinand. And I will say beyond this orange circle where it would form, there are still lots of possibilities for where it could go. And to be fair, this is beyond a week out. So around a week from today, it would almost be where Erin is right now. But instead of having the same track that Erin does, instead of just going up and out, which it could have, that's still a possibility. And for like the long range terms, future tracks, there's still some future tracks that have that next system potentially pushing into the Gulf. We'll see. It's still over a week out. We're going to have to see. I kind of want to see how the system gets to where it is on Friday, maybe once it forms, and then we get a forecast going, and I think we'll narrow down more of the specifics of where it could go. But as of right now, beyond this kind of position for the next area of interest where my blue arrow is, it's going to be somewhere around here. Who knows where it goes beyond that is my point. But if this would be in the Gulf, this is the last point I want to make about this. If this would be in the Gulf, it would be in the Gulf like Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So we're still plenty of time away. As I said, again, I'm hoping by Friday we kind of narrow down where this actual area of interest is, or if it's a named storm by then, where it is. And then we'll start, I wouldn't say us preparing for the weekend ourselves, but somebody might be preparing by the time we get into this weekend. So that's essentially what I want to keep you first alert about. So that'll be something to look at later down the road. Now, this is the last map I want to show you. Tropical development beyond that system, yes, even beyond that system, continues to bring on a chance and almost looks like a Congo line of potential tropical waves is on tap for behind that. Obviously, still way, way out to see if it's going to form, but this map kind of shows that it's looking pretty likely. There's going to be more storms, potentially beyond not just Erin, but beyond potential Ferdinand, which is that no area of interest that's in the Atlantic now. So we'll keep you first alert, obviously, in the days ahead. Everything for now in the Gulf's looking fine, but that's today's kind of the first signs of where we could see something there early next week. Okay? We'll keep you first alert about anything and everything that develops. Lastly, 7-day forecast, back to just wrap things up here locally. It's extremely hot over the next 2 days. We do have our own rain chances coming in here for Wednesday and Thursday with a little cool front coming on through. Gives us 40% chances of storms here. Just, that cool front is the same front that's going to be ushering Erin away from the United States, which will be nice. Highs go from 103 on Tuesday down to 94 on Friday, and thankfully, it looks like the highs mostly stay there. I would say highs might creep up into the upper 90s here for the weekend. There's been some future tracks that show we start heating things back up in time for the weekend, especially with that sunshine coming out a little bit more and the rain mostly going away by the time we get into the weekend. But we'll keep you first alert. I still can't rule out a rain chance entirely here, especially once we get into Sunday. But obviously, we'll detail the weekend out a little closer to the time frame. But thank you for joining me on First Alert with a Breakdown. Big, thorough discussion on the tropics. Again, everything looking good, at least here for locally. Meantime, Erin giving us some wave kind of problems, especially along the East Coast on the beaches. But besides that, it should be fine, especially if you're away from the beach. If you're away from the beach on the East Coast, you should be completely fine. Maybe a few rainy days, especially for Virginia and North Carolina on some of the very outer bands of Erin. But besides that, you should be fine. Again, away from the beaches. The beaches themselves, though, again, I'd probably just say stay out of the waters. A very strong rip current, and still some strong waves are going to get pushed on shore, which could erode some of the beaches. In fact, we do have, I believe there is an evacuation order for the very eastern edge of North Carolina, that Hatteras area, the little thin strip of land on the East Coast. There is an evacuation order for that county in that area. So we'll keep you first alert about that. If it hits kind of the area, the time frame it would hit North Carolina is somewhere, I believe, between Wednesday and Thursday later this week. So still got 2 to 3 days to track that out and see how the waves and how the situation is going to be over there. But again, here locally, everything looking good for now. All eyes for us potentially, and the rest of the United States are all looking in the system after Erin. That 50% chance of an area of interest. We'll see what happens by Friday. No real cause to worry by Friday until it forms on Friday, again, somewhere around the Caribbean islands, which, again, is still way off to our east. So we'll see what the picture looks like more towards Thursday and Friday. We'll continue to update you each and every day, obviously, but that's the days I'm mainly looking forward to once we get updates. Speaking of Thursday and Friday, that's when I'll be on next. Is this coming Thursday on the First Alert with a Breakdown. I should have an interview for you then. That'll be cool, and that'll be fun to do. Meanwhile, next 2 days, CJ has you covered. I don't know what he's talking about. It's going to be a surprise. Surprise to me, so it's a surprise to you. That's why you should come on down. 10:30, First Alert with a Breakdown on the same live stream. Again, CJ Cartledge will be your host here for your Tuesday and Wednesday coming up. But for today, that wraps up today's coverage. Thank you very much for joining us here on the First Alert with a Breakdown. You have a great rest of your Monday. Have a fantastic work week. Keep cool, especially over the next 2 days. But hey, Mother Nature's at least helping us out a little bit. Just a little bit for the end of this work week. And most of that's thanks to more abundant rain around for Wednesday and Thursday. All right. I think we went over everything. See you tomorrow. CJ will see you tomorrow, 10:30. Be there, be square. Most importantly, be weather aware. Have a great rest of your day, and sayonara. Have a good one.